So today we are going to be talking about making inferences. And making inferences is something that you do not only when you're reading, but also in your everyday life. And I would venture to guess that many of you do it all the time without even realizing it. So let's discuss what is making inferences. What does that mean? That's when a reader figures something out that the author didn't actually say. That's making inferences. So it means that the author hasn't expressly stated something, and we have to, as you've probably heard the expression before, read between the lines. We have to figure out the missing pieces based on the pieces that we already have. So when the information's not already there and the reader figures it out, that's making an inference. An inference is an idea that the reader makes based on evidence and reasoning, and it is an educated guess. Now, that's the most important part there. An educated guess. It can't just be a random guess just for the sake of making a guess. So if I say that there's a terrible crime spree happening in the city and the dad in the book has to run off to save the day, and then I ask you, what is the dad's job? There are several possible answers you could give that would be an educated guess. We know that he's going to save the day and that there's a crime spree, so maybe he's a police officer. Maybe he's a detective. Maybe he's a superhero. But you couldn't say that he, say, works at a grocery store, because that might not be something that's needed to save the day. That's something to help provide people with food and resources, but not necessarily save the day in relation to a crime spree. So it must be an educated guess based on evidence and reasoning. So to make an inference, you're going to combine what you already know about a topic with evidence from the text. So this is where it comes in handy to have background knowledge and use our own experiences, because we're going to get evidence from the text, but then we have to piece it together with things that we have learned in the past, possibly before we even started reading the story. So when you make an inference, you, as I said earlier, read between the lines. So you need to use clues from the text to figure out what is not directly stated. It's using your context clues. You do this naturally when you are reading a book and you come across an unfamiliar word, for example. And whenever you say, well, I don't know what that word means, you could go look it up in a dictionary or look it up online. But if you don't have access to those resources, what do we typically say you should do? Use your context clues. Try and figure out what it means based on the clues in the surrounding text. Same idea with inferences. You are going to figure out more information based on clues given in the text. So let's do this example. Sky shoved her spelling test to the back of her folder. She hoped her mom wouldn't check there. Now, there are things that are explicitly stated. She has a spelling test, she put it in the back of a folder, she's hiding it from her mom. But why is she hiding it from her mom? We could piece together a whole lot of information, but to make an educated guess, we know that she's hoping her mom doesn't look. She's trying to hide it from her mom. Why do people maybe hide a test from their parent? I know some of my students maybe would hide a test from their parent if they didn't make a very good grade on it, and they don't want their parent to know that they didn't do well on an assignment. So our inference could be that Sky maybe failed this test. She's probably not happy with her score, and she's hoping she doesn't have to tell mom about it. You could also make an inference if I say, I have to be at work every day by 7:30, and it takes me about 15 minutes to get to work. Today, I fell behind making my breakfast, and I left the house at 7:20. What inference could you make? Well, I'm probably going to be late for work, unless I break some sort of laws and start speeding like crazy to get there, the inference you would make is that I am going to be late because it takes me 15 minutes to get there. I left at 7:20. I can piece together the information that I'm not going to be at school until 7:35. And so therefore I would be late. Those are all inferences that you can make. So when you are reading, the first thing you need to do is read the passage carefully. Gather as many details as you can and use those as your clues to help you piece it together. You also then need to combine what you already know about the topic with those clues. So you're gathering all these details, and then you're going to think through things that you already know, things that you have learned in the past about the topic. And that is how you make inferences. That's what good readers do, and that's what you're going to be doing as you read as well.